Now it's Mr. Gerhard Pross.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and a joy for me, as the moderator of Together for Europe, to be present when this important document will be signed. Together for Europe is an ecumenical network with more than 300 movements and fellowships from the most of European countries are connected. The basic impulse of Together for Europe was given during a conversation from the former EU Commission President Romano Prodi and the founder of the Focolare movement, Chiara Lubich. Prodi asked Chiara Lubich how he could bring Christian values in politics if Christians themselves do not raise their voice. I think a very important question today too. At that, Chiara Lubich motivate us, the other movements, to plan a big event, 2004 in Stuttgart, with 10,000 participants under the theme Together for Europe. In an impressive way, we could show, as we did similar events in later years, how much the Christian faith positively affects our cooperation in Europe. We remain faithful in this line. During the last 10 years, we organized numerous encounters between East and West in Europe with the aim of dialogue and listening to each other. We think we have to very careful listening between East and West in Europe. The last meeting was in Timișoara, Romania, last year. We invest in together a culture in order to create an alternative to polarization, fragmentation, and national egoism. We build bridges of togetherness. At the same time, it's our basic concern that the Christian faith will not be banished in public. Our faith gives us hope and courage to create the future, to overcome fears, hatred, and fragmentation. Our European values are based on the Christian faith. When we cut the roots, we must not be astonished if the fruits dry up. We can see this in Europe today. Therefore, we invest ourselves strongly for Christian values and appreciate the given text as a word of hope and future. Thank you.
Παρακαλείται ο αναπληρωτής Γενικός Γραμματέας της Παγκόσμιας
Deputy General Secretary of the World Muslim League, Abdulrahman Abdallah Al-Zaid.
Alhamdulillah.
Reverend Fathers, Vice Chairman of the Hellenic Parliament, Your Excellency, Secretary General of the Interparliamentary Assembly in Orthodoxy, Your Excellency, Rector of the School of Theology, Excellencies, Eminencies, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of His Excellency Sheikh Dr. Mohammed Ibn Abdul Karim Al Isa, Secretary General of the Muslim World League and Chairman of the Organization of Muslim Scholars, I extend my deepest gratitude for convening this significant conference in Greece, which underscores the pivotal role of religion in shaping the life of Muslims in a world where materialism often predominates, causing the marginalization of spiritual guidance. The need to revitalize the role of religion is imperative. This is critical, not only in navigating the increasing social and moral challenges of our times, but also in steering our societies towards more ethical and humane directions. We at the Muslim World League, guided by the spirit of Islam and its message of mercy to all humankind, advocate that all religions and their teachings are fundamentally aimed at reinforcing ethical and spiritual values, safeguarding civilizational achievements, and fostering relationships founded on tolerance and positive coexistence. Furthermore, these teachings promote virtues of devotion and benevolence among people, irrespective of religion, color, or race, while deeply respecting and understanding the unique attributes of various religions and cultures. Our commitment is steadfast and the World Muslim League has made a significant global contribution by issuing the Charter of Mecca, a document of our importance in modern history, endorsed by 1,200 senior scholars, muftis and intellectuals representing the full spectrum of Muslim societies. Furthermore, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, the custodian of the two holy mosques, and His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, Crown Prince and Prime Minister, paid tribute to the Charter. And subsequently, the OIC ministerial meeting adopted the Charter and recommended its utilization in religion, educational, and cultural institutions. Internationally, Christian and Jewish leaders have paid tribute to the principles and content of the Charter. Additionally, U.S. Anglican leaders organized a significant event to celebrate the Charter and extol the common religious and humanitarian values it encompasses. This celebration was attended by thousands of church members. We resolutely committed to advocating the cessation of wars and seeking viable solutions through dialogue grounded in reason and logic rather than judgment. So we urge our partners dedicated to promoting peace from diverse religious and cultural backgrounds, particularly the Russia-Ukraine war, and also a strong condemnation of the escalating violence in Gaza, and urge the exertions on pressure on Israel to cease the acts that have led to the suffering of the Palestinian people, including killing, starvation, and displacement. These actions should align with the demands of the International Court of Justice and adhere to international humanitarian conventions. This war is a disgrace to all humanity, highlighted by the international community's delays in recognizing rights, evident double standards, and inhumane biases. My gratitude to the Hellenic Parliament, the I.A.O., the School of Theology, and the Aristotle University, the Conference of European Churches, the Commission of Bishops' Conference of the European Union, the Metropolis of Thessaloniki, and may God help in our work.
Παρακαλείται ο Γενικός Γραμματέας της Διακοινοβουλευτικής
Now
Συνέλευσης.
the Secretary General, Dr. Maximos Harakopoulos, as a keynote speaker. Reverend Fathers, Eminences, representatives of other doctrines and other religions, Mr. Vice Chairman of the Hellenic Parliament, dear deputies from Greece, Cyprus, Armenia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Poland, Romania, Albania, General, Rector of the University, Mr. Dean of the Faculty of Theology, dear Dean of the University of Athens, dear Presidents of the sections of the Theological Faculty, President of the University of Nicosia, dear President, dear Advisor, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is particular pleasure and honor to meet here on politics as an area for the expression of Christian values in everyday life. It is an international initiative we undertook with parliamentarians, church and university bodies. And I would like to thank all for their contribution and their cooperation. This conference takes place in a city which has the Christian imprint very much alive. It was founded in the Hellenistic times, but flourished in Byzantine times. And it is from Thessaloniki that St. Cyril and Methodius took the message of Orthodoxy to the Slavs, also providing for the first time a written alphabet for their languages, and therefore setting their imprint on the map of the Balkans. It is a city which is very near Mount Athos, the Ark of Orthodoxy, which radiates hope. It is a city of Hesychast and St. Gregory Palamas. In Thessalonica, which never ceased to be in constant contact with the Western and Eastern Europe, and to be always open to intellectual currents. And we wanted this conference to take part before the European elections, so that we could have a say in for the future of Europe, because frequently elections are seen in terms of party politics, but the major wager is what will be the future Europe. What will be the values that will permeate it? What is the vision that we need to have again? Because we see that what we see today as European vision is somewhat blurred and faded, because there is no no common foreign and defense policy, no real solidarity between member states. It's economic policy in a very narrow-minded way, and the feeling that all this is a result of a remote bureaucracy in Brussels. So politics as an expression of Christian values arose from a bitter statement that Christian values and Christian tradition are overlooked or ignored by European public speech and forums such as the Future of Europe, which is a practice which is very undemocratic because it is not the result of an institutionalized or elected view. It's a practice which overlooks the majority of the peoples in Europe who still are observant religiously. And this fact, although we have established this, and we have notified that to the relevant bodies in the European Union, we never had a response. And this creates doubts. Which is the ideological underpinning of modern Europe, and what are the ideological currents that influence decisions? We have all this woke culture which drives a railroad on Christian tradition on the basis of distorted entitlement worship, which creates a major challenge for European cohesion. At the same time, our conference, we would like to discuss what will be our contribution to re-establishing values. How could we have a creative union of the past and the present, and how we need to adapt? There are no easy answers to these questions. We live in a very composite world, globalization, homogeneity among the young generations, major migrant currents, artificial intelligence are things which change our societies. And at the same time, we have the challenges of revisionism, which change the whole question of international relations, and climate change, which makes imperative to have a new relation between man and nature. And Europe has to find the right answers. But the answers, will they be empowered by the values of the long-standing Christian tradition of Europe, or whether Europe will only use ready-made, recently made tools which are of doubtful identity? We need to contribute, and we have done so since establishing the I.A.O. During the Delors presidency of the European Commission, when the I.A.O. was established and founded, we had a member of the European Parliament, the vice chairman of the chairperson, and we understand the common agony which will help us reach conclusions on how to act in the future. Because what we need is a united Europe, welfare Europe, which will guide mankind. I am sure that our conference, with such important participation, which is highly recognized and highly active, will become the springboard for a more productive and fruitful cooperation in the future. Thank you.
Ακολουθεί ανάγνωση κειμένου έκκλησης προς τους ευρωπαϊκούς θεσμούς, τις πολιτικές παρατάξεις.
And now we shall read a petition to the European institution by Dr. Kostas Migdalis, advisor to the I.A.O. Europe, be yourself. On the 9th of November 1982 and European elections 2024, a petition to both political parties and European candidates. We express all these sanitary, hygiene, migrant, energy crisis in Europe and the terrible wars outside. These challenges lead to a crisis of values which question Christian values. European citizens understand the difficulties of decision-making to respond to this reality. But as spiritual, political, and cultural supporters of the European vision, we need to re-establish priorities so that we have a sustainable future for Europe. It is crucial to have a participatory democracy and contribute and have citizens involved in decision making. We have found that in this dialogue on the future of Europe, a large part of citizens which sees Christian values does not have an opportunity to express its views and therefore feels marginalized. We also have noted the exclusion of any reference to Christian values to texts of the European Union. This is a clear indication that we overlook the importance of the contribution of Christian tradition which shaped and forged modern European values. In this electoral campaign, as Christians, we wish to have a dialogue which will be an opportunity to express our commitment to European values and the community acquis. It is with sadness that we note that values that such as peace and welfare and justice have been all blown to smithereens. Fear overtakes citizens on the future of Europe and the world, and this fear leads some to seek help into an instrumentalized form of tradition, which is an evocation of traditional values. Fatherland and country are instrumentalized, and some very doubtful historical figures are hailed as heroes, and the public space is all the more polarized and is influenced by fake news in digital and social networks. This influences dialogue and undermines any kind of moderation and the principles of our democratic societies. And we note that we have this, and the creation of closed groups which claim things that are beyond reason. And within this framework, we believe that European leadership and political parties should re-establish their narratives on the basis of timeless tendencies that characterize European integration. Christian values which are shared by a large majority of European peoples can be a guarantee for our dealing with these challenges. In a labyrinth of changing parameters, it is useful to have European parties to take into consideration Christian values, and we express our commitment to work together in a dynamic manner to promote a positive European agenda which is inspired by Christian values. And we express a petition for and reinforcing the open and regular dialogue with the churches as foreseen in the Lisbon Treaty. And we ask political parties and candidates to recognize Christian values as a major concern, and also apply Article 17A of the treaty for the functioning of the European Union, for an open, transparent dialogue with religions, and then to fight instrumentalization of Christian values for political interests and any ethnophiletical narratives, and to include European values in their campaigns. The Conference of European Churches, the Commission of the Bishop Conferences in the European Union, the Interparliamentary Assembly in Orthodoxy, and the Together for Europe organization. So I would like to ask Chairman of his organization so that we can sign the document. Mr. Pross. Mr. Pross. Mr. Harakopoulos. Mr. Harakopoulos. Once the document is signed, let's stand up holding the document for a photo.